Now, we all love a party, don't we? But there are fears that this summer's Bath Carnival, now in its 4th year, might have to be scaled back if organisers don't manage to raise the money they need. They're after £8,000 in the next 10 days, but at the moment, they're only on 752. Robbie Verrecchia lives in Oldfield Park and is one of the organisers. Morning, Robbie.
Good morning, Emma.
Now, I am a big carnival fan, but I have to be honest, the ones that I love happen at night, but yours is like a daytime celebration. Can you describe it for us?
Yeah, ours we've got a slightly different style to carnivals like Bridgewater Carnival. So ours is kind of a bit of a sunshine procession. It's walking participants mainly, so we have samba bands, dance groups, everyone dressed up in costumes. And it's a procession that leads from the Bath Rec and goes round the city centre and ends up in where the Abbey is in Kingston Parade. So it's a walking procession mainly.
Oh, it sounds fantastic, though.
It's all about the colour and the music and the atmosphere that we create through the procession.
So what do you need £8,000 for?
Well, the event is it costs a lot of money to put on events like this. It's things like security, stewarding, setting up the infrastructure. We need to have things in place for us, obviously the stage and the power, the road closures. Everything adds up. And obviously in our 4th year, the event has grown to a point now where we need to put more things in place to keep it a safe and a fun event. So yeah, it just adds up really, and we're at a stage now where we've got some funding to go towards the workshops and the carnival preparation that we do in the community. So the actual event itself is suffering, and we're kind of looking out now to the community to see if people can actually, support us for our campaign.
Stand nice and still for me, Robbie, because the line's a little bit dodgy, and I just wanted to ask you a few other things. I've been involved in Carnival for many, many years, the evening carnivals, and particularly Bridgewater, sure, which is my hometown. And I know carnivals there that have been going for many, many years, the only way they've survived is by evolving and by diversifying. And actually one of the main things some of the big carnivals have had to do is take on board like official sponsorship. Is that something you've tried or considered?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. We are offering, we still are offering sponsorship opportunities. And we have a couple already that have come through. Things like our local printer, Bath Minuteman. They offer us a budget so that we can get a lot of our publicity printed.
Great.
And so there's various costs that we can get covered by local sponsors. But we're still looking for a major sponsor and anyone else who wants to kind of support our event. And we have a brochure for that, and it can all be found on our website as well.
And what happens if you don't get £8,000? What will happen to Bath Carnival?
Well, we have a contingency plan, so we can scale down the event if we have to. It's obviously not what we want to do, but just things like paying for bands to perform, the professionals that take part in the procession alongside the schools that we work with. We have to just cut these things back and have less people involved. And the event is free, and that's our biggest. It's the nicest, but it's also the biggest problem. Is there's not much opportunity to generate money on the door. So,
and also, even if you wanted to charge, how the hell do you even coordinate that? Apart from erecting a humongous fence, which would cost you even more money, and then it just doesn't become. It's not really in the spirit, is it?
Well, no, exactly. Carnival should be free, in my opinion. Yeah.
How do you feel about the £752 that you've sort of been, asking people to donate? Are you a bit disappointed that it hasn't been more?
Well, the campaign is still in its early days. It hasn't been on for long, and I mean this is a new thing for me. Crowdfunding. I don't really know. I'm not really sure, what to expect. But I'm hoping that over the next 10 days, people find out about our campaign, donate, and and it kind of grows and we get closer to our target. So I'm not really sure at this stage what to expect.
Well, I wish you all the very best, Robbie, and we'll keep in touch with you. And fingers crossed it can be the very, very best that you want it to be. That's Robbie Verrecchia there, one of the organisers of the Bath Carnival. It's in its 4th year, and if they don't raise £8,000, they might have to scale the event back. These carnivals, it's very difficult to charge for an event like that, and the associated costs are just absolutely huge. I haven't talked much about carnivals so far since I've been here on The Breakfast Show, but you wait till we get nearer the end of the year. You won't be able to shut me up. You'll be like, shut up about Carnival.
Emma, thank you very much indeed. Now, we are talking carnivals today. Back in 2013, Bath took its first carnival, and it has been a great success. But, as you've been hearing with Emma this morning, it's in a bit of a spot of bother because it needs £8,000 to be all it needs to be. A victim, perhaps, of its success. It's the cost of things like road closures and cleaning up and marshalling and policing, all taking their toll on this free event. This has an air of familiarity about it, doesn't it? Because it's one of the things that happened to St Paul's Carnival, which is a huge worldwide event and somewhat a victim of its own success. The cost of putting it on isn't met by the hundreds of thousands of people who go to it. We also have festivals in Chipping Sodbury. There is Portishead Carnival. There's a carnival in Weston, the world-famous Bridgewater Carnival. The chances are you have taken part in a carnival. Was it worth it? Are carnivals worth it? And have you taken part in a carnival? 0345 905 949. Tell your story after the news. But this morning we're going to start with carnivals. It's a huge part of Somerset life. Look at what happens in Weston-super-Mare, which of course I know is technically North Somerset, and Bridgewater Carnival as well, international famous carnival. That's lots of floats and lights and sound and music and majorettes and corps of drums, and then there are parades like Portishead. Big carnival happens there every year. Of course there's St Paul's Carnival. Yeah, that didn't go too well last year, did it? And it's a shadow of its former self, it would appear, at the moment, heading towards its 50th anniversary in 2018. A huge celebration of Afro-Caribbean culture and history. And then Bath Carnival started in 2013. It needs to raise £8,000 to be all it wants to be. It's in a bit of a pickle at the moment. If it doesn't raise that money, it's going to have to scale back. Have you taken part in a carnival? Craig in Warminster. Morning, Craig.
Morning.
And we've also got Heather in Bishopston. Heather, good morning to you.
Hello, darling.
I like that.
Well, I call everybody darling.
Oh, don't spoil it. Let's start with you, Craig. You perform in Bath Carnival.
Yes, I have as a drummer over the last, each carnival, really.
What sort of drummer?
Well, I play kind of hand drums like timbers when I'm in the band, and I've also performed as a guitarist, which is what I do separately as well.
So what is it about performing in the parade of Bath Carnival that you love?
It's great. It's a fantastic day. The atmosphere is really good. The people involved in the project are fantastic, and the band's made up of people from all different walks of life and different ages, from kids to older citizens, so it's great.
Is it one of those things where you slightly close your eyes, you could think you're in Rio or the opening sequence of Spectre, or, that sort of thing?
In between the rain, the showers in Bath, then, no, it's just like Rio.
Heather, have you performed?
Not actually performed, but we had my husband was a Sunday school teacher, and when the first carnival started, sort of thing, they were asked if they'd join in.
Yep.
Well, my husband's firm, where he worked at that particular time, loaned a lorry, and we had the lorry with all the children dressed up, and it was quite nice. It was lovely.
This is the first St Paul's Carnival?
That's St Paul's Carnival, yes.
Sort of 48 years ago?
It's a long, long time, yes.
50th anniversary of St Paul's Carnival in 2018. Both of those stories, both of those events, it brings people together, Craig, doesn't it? Yeah,
that's the main part of it all. That's it's just not just the people performing as well. It's all the families that come along to enjoy the day, and there's a lot of really good school projects to help get the kids involved and make costumes and everything. So it's a very inclusive not just like one day, but the whole thing leading up to it.
And that, Heather, I know is a huge part of what the St Paul's Carnival is all about, which is school children.
It is now, as I say.
No, but
it's just starting off.
But the schools making costumes and projects, talking about their history, their heritage, their culture. That's
right.
one of a big thing. What was that first St Paul's Carnival like, Heather?
Nowhere near like it is today. As I say, it was mostly people from all around the locality.
Yep.
Everybody sort of joined in. It was lovely. It really was. But no, it's not like it was now.
And I wonder whether what Heather's saying there in Bishopston, Craig and Warminster is that these events are small community events, and they have a tipping point, a danger that they get too big and they're not sustainable, because you have to start closing roads and getting police involved, and then someone's got to pick up the rubbish, and so it goes, Craig.
Well, I mean, it's a big project. Even like Bath's a lot smaller than St Paul's, obviously, but it's a huge project already. And to get the road closures and everything else in between. And I guess when it gets even like St Paul's is obviously huge.
Yes.
And Bath Carnival isn't that level, but I see all the work that goes on behind the team that has to make Bath Carnival happen, and it's a huge effort. So that's why all the support we can get is fantastic.
Well, they can have a look at the website and make their choice if they want to. The Bath Carnival website, just put that into a search engine of your choice. Heather in Bishopston, lovely to talk to you, and Craig in Warminster, thank you.
Darling.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Call John 0345 900 590.
Rich in Trowbridge. Hi, Rich. Good morning to you.
Oh, yeah, morning, John. How are you?
You are part of Bath, the band at Bath Carnival. Is that right?
Yes, I am. Yes. Well, a few years ago, I started because my family started doing it.
Yep.
And I find it a really good reliever of stress, really, and I really enjoy it and the people all around, and it's a good community thing to do in your spare time, really.
And how much work does it take you to be part of the Bath Carnival, which is scheduled to happen 16th of July, which I think it's the same weekend as the Bristol Harbour Festival? So, it's a competitive world, isn't it, to put something on and bring people to your event when perhaps they'd be going to another event? That's another issue as well, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Well, fortunately, I've been doing it for quite a few years.
Yeah.
But beforehand, I think I was jumping maybe about 6 months. But I know that people actually did start to jump like 3 or 4 weeks before, so I had like maybe 6-8 hours worth of practice, which is really good for everyone, really.
I suppose it's like all of these things, isn't it? Is that whether you're a member of a carnival club, and of course all the carnival clubs that happen around the Bridgewater Carnival, putting the floats together and coming up with the ideas and being the performers on the tableau and what have you, or you're a member of a majorette band or a corps of drums or whatever it may be, it brings people together with a common interest, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It's all about just having fun and just not worrying about the 9 to 5 and just you're just enjoying the music, having a good time. And
do you pay into that? I mean, obviously you give your time, but do you pay into that group, that carnival, that whatever, or is it just all done for free and love?
It's it's a very small price. It's maybe 5 or 6 quid a week, so it's pretty much it's worth every penny, really.
And that, you see, I sort of alluded to this yesterday when we were talking about something else.
Yeah.
Is it if let's say, I don't know, 50,000 people, 20,000, let's say 20,000 people turned up and put £1 in a bucket, you'd have £20,000, which would solve Bath Carnival funding problems.
That would, yeah.
Like that. But of course, they don't. Why don't they?
No.
Why don't they do that?
I think because people really have confidence in the organisers from the off, get it organised, and they feel that they can really do it on their own. But obviously, because I've done a Kickstarter or a campaign before, I know that you need a good network of people around you to spread the word. And
that, I mean, that's the crucial thing, isn't it? Because I think people turn up, as young people would say. Gosh, I sound like Richard Lewis then. They rock up, they enjoy it, but they don't put their hand in their pocket. And they don't understand that it's policing and road closures and cleaning and all that sort of stuff that needs to be involved. Rich, I hope it goes forward. I hope the crowdfunding works. And I hope you have a good day of it on the 16th of July.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Rich. Thank you.
Bye.
Patrick in Pill. Morning, Patrick.
Good morning, John. How are you, my friend?
Very well, thank you very much indeed. Does Pill have
Did you plan your golf club with Mr. Ferguson yesterday?
golf club?
Yeah. Right, you're going to be playing golf with him now. He's no longer there.
I don't play golf. I don't play golf, Patrick, with anybody. I have the unfortunate inability to get your bat to hit the ball to get it to even go along the air. I'm very good at skimming on the ground. No, I'm not playing golf with George Ferguson. Don't you worry.
Anyway, back to Carnival. I made 3 points to your young man on the phone. One of which has been covered, which is the sort of community cohesion.
Yeah.
The other thing that strikes me is when you look at carnivals like St Paul's and also Attleborough area, Notting Hill, it's a tremendous celebration of other cultures and other ways of life, which, again, a lot of us in our own little world wouldn't be aware of or wouldn't see if it weren't for these grand events.
To be fair, Patrick, it's also, if you look at taking St Paul's as an example, the actual community there are now third, fourth generation. To have a focus of a carnival like St Paul's Carnival allows them to discuss, explain, engage and educate about their culture, history and heritage in a way that you wouldn't otherwise.
That's right. Yeah, it's his bringing out in tradition, and that's fantastic. And I believe that is a very fundamental reason for having Carnival.
Yeah.
The other thought that strikes me was if we look at the Somerset Carnival circuit.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous way of fundraising for charity.
That's an incredibly important point, because you've got, the round table and everybody else, you're all throwing coins at the truck, aren't they?
That's right. And this is very, very important. It strikes, I'm actually, I'll put my card on the table. I'm a former voluntary organiser, fundraiser for the national charity.
Yeah.
And it struck me, I was up at the Balloon Fiesta last summer with a collecting bucket. And it struck me then how much easier it was collecting at an event with, in this case, Balloon Fiesta, but equally with the carnivals, than it is for a poor old collector stuck at a supermarket with a tin in their hand.
Well, people are in the right frame of mind, aren't they?
That's right.
Yeah.
And this is a fantastic way, and this is just another very, very important thing, because we do need to support our local charities and charities per se.
Well, on that, and if I can ask you to be brief, Patrick, on that very point, you may recall, I think it was 2012 or 2013, St Paul's Carnival tried to do text donations. It failed terribly. They didn't raise hardly any money at all against, I think, a target. I'm doing this from memory of about £10,000. Now, of course, they're not. This is a not-for-profit thing. They're not making money. What they're trying to do is fund the infrastructure to make certain that the thing happens. Maybe, in your experience, to get one of these things working, you've obviously got to be thinking ahead, haven't you? You've got to have the money in the bank this year to fund the thing next year. If you were, as a former national fundraiser, what would you say to Bath that they need to do to get the money in the bank to keep it going?
Right. I think the crowdfunding is an excellent idea.
Yeah.
This is something that's started since my time.
Yes.
And I think approaching local businesses, because there are going to be local businesses, and it's going to take time and effort to identify them, who are going to be prepared to sponsor such events. There are lots, and really it's just
it's about. I suppose it's about being part of something that's positive. So, as a business, you want to be part of something that's good for the for the children, for education, for the community. Patrick, thank you for that. I think you've helped a lot of people crystallise what's needed to be done there. Good to hear from you, and I'll let the golf thing slide. Do you play golf?
No, I don't, John.
Good. Well, then we have that in common. Thank you very much.
What you've been talking about with John Darvel on BBC Radio Bristol.
Have you taken part in a carnival. So what is it about performing in the parade of Bath Carnival that you love?
It's great. It's a fantastic day. The atmosphere is really good. People involved in the project are fantastic, and the band's made up of people from all different walks of life and different ages, from kids to older citizens, so it's great.
Yeah, it's all about just having fun and just not worrying about the 9 to 5 and just enjoying the music.
What was that first St Paul's Carnival like, Heather?
Well, nowhere near like it is today, as I say. It was mostly people from all around the locality.
Yep.
Everybody sort of joined in. It was lovely. It really was. But no, it's not like it was now.
I wonder whether what Heather's saying there is that these events are small community events. They have a tipping point, a danger that they get too big and they're not sustainable.
Call John on 0345 905 949. BBC Radio Bristol.
Lisa in Bathwick. Hi, bye-bye. Lisa in Bathwick. Morning, Lisa.
Good morning.
Now, you have been to Bath Carnival. Have you ever been in Bath Carnival?
I haven't. No, I haven't. But yeah, our family have definitely enjoyed Carnival for the past few years, and we're very much looking forward to the 16th of July.
Do you have a bit of a sort of a guilty desire to be in a carnival? Perhaps, one of those great big Rio things with the feathers coming out of your head and, one of those Rio costumes.
You haven't seen me, have you? No, joking aside. I don't think.
Don't let that put you off.
But hey.
Funny, there are lots of images. You think of Rio Carnival. I was jokingly saying that I don't know whether you've seen the film Spectre, the last James Bond Daniel Craig job. That starts with a carnival as well. They have an atmosphere, don't they, Lisa, of people and music and drum beats, and that's the smell of food and happiness.
Absolutely, and that's what we enjoy as a family. I think the Carnival does a brilliant job in getting everybody out onto the streets. Everyone's feeling in a good mood. It lifts people's spirits. It's just before the long summer holidays. It's a free event. It's absolutely brilliant for families in Bath.
Now, I don't know whether you're aware of the cost of putting these things on, road closures, marshalling, cleaning up the streets afterwards, because, of course, people never use bins at Carnival, like, the world-famous Green Glastonbury Festival, which looks like a rubbish tip when everyone leaves, or indeed, the summer solstice at Stonehenge, when they all the hippies leave and leave all their carrier bags lying around. The rubbish needs to be collected. The cost needs to be factored in. Would you pay a couple of quid in a bucket to do that?
Absolutely, I would. I have donated to the Bath Carnival this year. This is the first time I've done so. Yeah. But as I say, my family and I have enjoyed a great time in the past, and it's I felt that I'd like to support them this year. So I was quite happy to put a few quid into the pot.
Well, maybe others will do so as well. They can find details of the Bath Carnival on the website. Just put Bath Carnival into a search engine of your choice. 16th of July, Saturday the 16th of July, is going to be hopefully running in all its glory, subject to the money. Lisa, thank you for joining me this morning. Good to talk to you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Bye.
you. Tom in Easton, good morning.
Hello.
We've been talking about carnivals this morning. Not Bridgewater Carnival, Bath Carnival needs to raise £8,000. I'm told that you've been in Bridgewater and Bath Carnival. Doing what?
Playing drums.
So you're another one of those people who gets us moving, who gets that rhythm going.
Yeah. I'm in several samba bands. It's a sort of bit like an activity, a hobby that grew and got slightly out of control for a while. And I was in one band and we had a bit of a break, and I thought, I can't stop, I've got to keep drumming.
Right.
So I went and found another band to join, and then carried on with both.
So when you say it was a hobby that got out of control, you became an obsessed drummer?
Yeah, I'm sort of like in a support network of people who have the same sort of problem. Whereas if we go too long without drumming, we start becoming a bit.
Do you sit around in a circle and say, hello, my name's Tom. It's been 4 days since I last beat a drum.
It's a bit like that. Yeah.
I'm not denuding people who've got addictions, but clearly it's something you, in all seriousness, you thoroughly enjoy.
Oh, it's very good for you. I mean, the people I know in the world of drumming and dancing, all actually, they're chasing the elation and the high that comes when you have. Everybody has problems in their life, and when you go and spend 2 hours drumming and dancing, at the end of it, your problems don't seem very important.
There have actually been studies on drumming within, learned mental health journals about the effects of the rhythmic beating, the ability to use your mind to focus on a sort of the maths of it, the rhythm of it, the catharsis of it.
Oh, definitely.
I totally get that. Performing in Bath, performing in Bridgewater, of the two, are they two different carnivals?
Very different. Bridgewater was in November.
Yeah.
It's very cold. I think it rained when we were there.
Yeah.
It was still quite an epic thing. I mean, I went along with the Bath Samba Sulis, and we played for something like 2.5 hours solid.
Blimey.
And it was quite spectacular to be walking down the street with a drizzle. And
but you're bringing that samba sound, that sound of Rio, that sort of Rio sound, I suppose. Isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and so Bridgewater was cold but quite epic. Bath was very sunny, and once again, I think I played with 2 different bands there.
Yeah.
I'm actually in a third band as well. It turned out all 3 bands were playing at the same event, so I had to choose.
Well, you had to run backwards and then go to the next band, then run backwards and go to the next band.
We did the dance workshop with the African Zambistas, which is one of the Bristol bands. Then I played with Afon Sistema, which is America 2 band, which is a different sort of style of samba, which is much heavier and still very rhythmic, and has singing as well. So
I wonder whether we're touching on something here, because clearly the rhythm and sound of a carnival is Latin American. It has that Latin American Rio feel. The world, the world's biggest carnival. I mentioned earlier the opening scenes of the movie Spectre, the last James Bond movie, which is a Mexican carnival, the Day of the Dead, a sort of a Halloween carnival. There, it's when you bring people together. That sound, that rhythmic sound of the drums. How do you harness that so people not only enjoy it, Tom, but they support it financially? Because otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd assume if you can get people to appreciate. I mean, we've played to crowds where the crowd's just ready, just waiting to go.
Yeah.
The crowd's at 98%, and the band to just give it that last bit. And I mean, if you're going to play, you really surf off the energy that comes from the crowd. And I think if people can really enjoy the event, that's going to encourage them to contribute to it.
So that's the quality of the performers and the quality of the sound and the route and everything else. Tom, it's fascinating because I don't know about you, I'm learning a lot this morning about carnivals, which I didn't know before. Tom in Easton, thank you very much for joining me.
Right, okay.
And enjoy Bath Carnival later this year.
Yeah, okay.
And Bridgewater, for that matter. Tom there in Easton, still time for you to have your say on this. 0345 905 949 Bath Carnival, set for Saturday the 16th of July, needs to raise about £8,000 to make certain it is all it wants to be. Have you ever taken part in a carnival? Some fantastic stories.